Your goal is to be successful on your fitness journey, then you have to learn to stop paying attention to your feelings. I talk to people all the time who constantly allow their feelings to dictate the actions that they take around accomplishing the goals that they say they want to accomplish. So, for example, if your goal is to drop body fat, some things that you will have to do is walk daily. You're going to have to hit the gym at least 2 to 3 times per week. You're going to have to manage your calories in some form or fashion, whether it's counting calories, whether it's strictly paying attention to portion controls by eyeballing it, whether it's reducing processed foods, whatever you choose to do, you're going to have to make some adjustments around nutrition. And these things will require a level of effort for you to do because if you're struggling with body fat and extra weight, it's because you're not doing these things. And the reality is, you're not always going to feel like it. Think about it. If we only did the things that we felt like doing, we would hardly do anything. You wouldn't go to work. You wouldn't have a career. You wouldn't have an income. You wouldn't be a great parent because there are days where you don't feel like going to work, but you got to do it anyway because you need to make money. There are days where your kids are going to piss you off, but you still got to show up as their mom, as their dad, because that's your duty and that's your responsibility. So if your goal is to be successful on a fitness journey, you're going to have to learn how to remove your emotions from the decision-making process. You're going to have to learn how to take action despite the way that you feel. And I'll tell you a story of one time in particular, back when I used to play soccer, right? And this was when I played college soccer where, I had to find a way to succeed at something, even though I felt terrible. And what we would do during preseason, this was before the season started, right? We would have preseason and we would have a test called the yo-yo test. And it's a test to gauge the level of fitness that you have, right? But it favors people who are able to sprint pretty fast, people who can recover like really quickly in between as well. And you also have to learn how to run the actual test to be successful at it. And I wasn't very good at any of those things. However, I knew that I had put in the work over the summer to come in fit, right? I ended up failing the yo-yo test. And the punishment for the players who failed the yo-yo test was that they had to run a Cooper that same day. So we would run the yo-yo test at midnight. So our coaches would start training at midnight to get the most out of the amount of days that we had to do preseason before the season started. So I ran the yo-yo at midnight, failed it, and then we had to run the Cooper at like 5 or 6 a.m. So we literally got maybe 2 hours, 3 hours of sleep max, right? We also ate after running the yo-yo. It was literally a test that was set up for nobody to pass, right? What they said was if you fail the yo-yo, but you pass the Cooper, then we will consider you fit and you'll be able to join the team with regular training as preseason progresses. If you don't, you're going to have to do extra fitness and you're not really ready to train with the team yet. But it was not set up for us to actually pass the test. And one of the assistant coaches actually told me this afterwards. But I had my mind made up that like, yo, I don't care that I didn't sleep last night. I don't care that I ran the yo-yo test, which is also pretty taxing. Like, I'm still going to find a way to pass this test because I know that I'm fit. I know that I did the work over the summer. It's just that this test doesn't favor me. So when we started running the Cooper test at 5 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock, or whatever time it was early in the morning, I took off. A lot of people started cramping up. A lot of people were falling behind. And I said, nah, like, I'm going to make sure that I finish this test and I do it in the time that I'm supposed to do it in. And I took it one lap at a time. I was just looking at the time, continuing to push myself, looking at the time, continuing to push myself. And then the coaches started realizing, holy shit, like he might actually pass this test. And the assistant who broke it to me after telling me like, yo, bro, this wasn't set up for y'all to win, but I'm glad that you pushed yourself to prove to them that you actually came in ready. He started cheering for me when I was on lap 5, when I was on lap 6, when I was on lap 7, when I was on the 8th lap. He was cheering for me to finish on time. And I ended up finishing on time. And a second guy ended up finishing on time as well because he saw how hard I was pushing myself. And I was gassed. I didn't sleep. I was tired. I was exhausted. But I made up in my mind, like, yo, I'm putting my feelings to the side because I need to get this done. I need to make sure that I pass this test because I want to have a good season. And this is the mindset that you're going to need to adopt if you want to be successful on a fitness journey. So I'm going to break down for you 5 things that you can do to help you to take the emotion out of your decision-making process and still take action regardless of how you feel, right? So the first step is going to be to break it down. Focus on the next step. Don't focus on everything that you need to accomplish, right? When people start thinking about fitness journey and they think about all the workouts that they have to do for the week, or they're thinking about the 40 pounds that they need to lose and they got to do this, they got to do that. Yo, break it down. Focus on the next step. Focus on putting your shoes on and getting outside to take a walk. Focus on the next workout that you have to do. Focus on the first exercise that you have to do in the workout. Focus on the next set or the next rep. It makes the actions that you have to take a lot less overwhelming, and it's easier to just get yourself going. Okay. The second is to set a non-negotiable routine. So decide that certain things are non-negotiable. The same way that I made up in my mind, I am not going to not pass this second test. You have to make the decision that you're not going to miss more than one workout for the week. You have to decide that you're going to stay within your calories. You have to decide that you're going to get 10,000 steps every single day. You have to make that decision and set it as a non-negotiable, meaning that everything else gets structured around it. No matter what happens today, I'm going to get 10,000 steps in. I don't care what happens with my boss. I don't care what happens with my kids. If they run me ragged after work and they need this and they need that and I got to cook for them, no matter what, I'm still going to make sure that I get in the amount of movement that I need to get in for the day because my mind is made up. It has to be something that is non-negotiable. You don't have to do everything every single day, but you have to have non-negotiables on each day. So one day the non-negotiable might be walking, and that may be your day off from working out. On another day, the non-negotiable may be working out, and maybe you get a little bit less steps on that day. Regardless, it needs to be something that you've made your mind up that you're going to do. Okay. The third thing, eliminate choice. If you can make decisions in advance. So for example, if you know you're supposed to go to the gym, pack your gym bag from the night before, pick out clothes. If you have workouts already scheduled, you know exactly what you need to do before you go there. It reduces the decision fatigue, right? If you've pre-prepped certain meals already, you already have your carb sources, your protein sources already cooked and on hand inside of the fridge, you eliminate the choice of going to order out because the food is already there. Okay. Number 4, use the 10-minute rule. Tell yourself that you're just going to commit to 10 minutes. Because majority of the time, once you get going and the momentum builds, you're going to finish whatever it is that you started doing, but you only decide to make a 10-minute commitment to it. So if you have a long walk that you need to go on and you're tired, you're exhausted, hey, just say, hey, I'm just going to do 10 minutes. I'm just going to get out and I'm going to walk for 10 minutes. And once you start 10 minutes, you're going to feel good. Your endorphins are going to be flowing. You're going to have a bit more energy. You're going to have a bit more mental clarity. That 10 minutes will easily turn into 20. It'll easily turn into 30. It'll easily turn into an hour. Because you made a micro commitment on the front end just to help you build the momentum that you need to get you going. And the 5th is to remember your why. You need to have a deep reason why you are doing this. You need to understand what role this plays inside of your life and keep your goals at the forefront. If you got to write it down, write it down. If you got to stick it up on the wall or on the window, do that. Because those are the things that are going to keep you going on the days where you don't feel like it. That's what's going to make certain things a non-negotiable, because you know why you're in this. It's about getting over the temporary discomfort in the moment to be able to have the long-term rewards. If you know that you need to set an example for your child because you don't want them to go through what it is that you went through with your weight struggles, then you need to show up regardless of how you feel, because this is about setting that example for your kid. It ain't about you and your feelings, right? And this is just an example. Get clear on what your why is, right? So these are the 5 things to make the decision-making process easier by taking your emotions out of it. Break it down into smaller steps, set a non-negotiable routine, eliminate choice, use the 10-minute rule, and remember your why. That will make it so much easier for you to take action when your motivation is low. If you're serious about accomplishing your goals, hitting your fitness goals, this is something that's going to be necessary. because life is going to continue to throw you curveballs. It's going to continue to throw you different challenges. It's going to continue to throw things that you didn't expect. And sometimes you need to just have grit and fight through it. You can't rely on that all the time, but there's going to be moments where you have to lean on that. You have to dig deep. You have to find a way to push through and actually get the things done. Similar to what I had to do in that moment in preseason, I did not want to run 2 fitness tests back to back. It's actually insanity. The only place you'll ever see that is in a college environment. Right? It's not actually a good thing for coaches to do, but it was a form of punishment. It's not something that I expected. It's not something that I had planned for, but I made my mind up like, yo, I'm going to prove to you that I'm actually fit. I'm going to prove to you that I did the work. I'm not going to be punished at the beginning of the season because you have a test that I personally don't feel like is catered to everybody. Right? So you have to tap into that mindset in order to be successful at this long term. That's all I got for you guys in this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.